What's up everybody, and welcome back to episode number 3 of my European adventures with the sort of Icelandic journey. And we're kicking it off here by a few players, as you can see on the video, by Sigurdsson, who's an Ajax striker who also had I think in the first episode, but I'm going to convert him to a cam because that's sort of, I think that's his best position, to be perfectly honest, of his pace and his sort of pace. Basically got 80 pace, which is fantastic. We'll also pick up a couple of other players just to boost the chemistry up, make the squad a little bit better, a little bit more Icelandic. Yeah guys, obviously the big news yesterday was Kenny Dalglish got the sack from Liverpool. And sort of the big news coming out was they've sort of approached Wigan regarding Roberto Martinez, and obviously Wigan have sort of said, yep, you can talk to Roberto Martinez regarding sort of the situation. And also today the bigger news was Liverpool sort of got into contact with Swansea City and asked Swansea City, would we be able to talk to Brendan Rodgers. And Brendan Rodgers just came out and said, no, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to manage Liverpool, I want to concentrate on Swansea City, which is very honourable of him, and I think that's, probably the right thing to do, because to be perfectly honest, I think whoever's going to get the Liverpool job, realistically, they're on a hiding to nothing, because there's not going to be much money to spend, if you consider how much they've spent in the last year or two. Kenny Dalglish spent over 100 million on players, which is just crazy. And realistically, someone's coming in, the target is going to be finish in the top 4. That because the reason Kenny Dalglish got the sack was because he didn't finish 4th, the top 4. That's why he got the sack. He was doing well in the cups, you can't deny him that. He won the Carling Cup, he got the final of the FA Cup, he was unlucky in that. Was the goal over the line, was it not? It was close. But the reason he got the sack, I think even if he won the FA Cup, I think he would have got the sack, because finishing 8th, considering how much money they've spent, was not acceptable. And I do believe if they get a new manager, the target will be to finish 4th. And to be honest, it's gonna be a difficult job, with players such as Downing, what's he called, Adams, Carroll, Henderson. You're not going to finish in the top 4 with players like that, if you're being realistic. So I think, whoever takes the job, hiding it, I think the fans will probably not want them, and sort of the names what the fans want. I'm listening to a lot of talk shows, radio shows. Some of them are wanting like Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola. If you're being realistic, they're not going to go to Liverpool. Liverpool are not in the Champions League. Realistically, they'll have not much money to spend, because if you're going to have to offload like some of them players, you're not going to get much for them. And there's sort of another problem with Liverpool, sort of a neutral view on it, or outside look. Their wage bill is far too high for sort of the size of their ground and their club in general. Like Steven Gerrard, Jamie Carragher, they'll be on massive wages. Reina, Carroll's on 90,000 a week. And they only get 45,000, which is not, which is not a lot when you consider Man United get 70, 80,000, Arsenal get 60, Newcastle get 52, Man City get about 45 to 48 ish, if you believe their figures are correct. So realistically, I think Liverpool, if they want to run the sort of the business in the right way, they cannot be spending more money, because if they do spend more money, they're going to be in more debt, which is not going to be good for the club in the long run. And so, realistically, the new manager coming in is going to have a difficult task in their hands. They're going to have to work miracles, realistically. It's going to be hard for them. But yeah, that's sort of my take on it. I think whoever does get the job, they're going to have a tough job in their hands. They're going to have to work some magic, really. And maybe Roberto Martinez is that guy. When you look at what he's achieved at Wigan, he makes them play attractive football, which obviously Liverpool fans will want to see. So that's probably a positive for him. Obviously, he's quite young, which is good. He can sort of build on that. He can mould the club from top to bottom however he wants. Obviously he's quite good at getting sort of, would you say, average players to play better than what they are. When you look at some of Wigan's players, like Edelman, Boyce, etc., they're quite average players, and you get them playing at a decent standard. So in my opinion, would be Martinez probably would be a good manager, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But this guy here, actually, on the footage, he was absolute wanker. He had a Swiss left back in midfield, and obviously he subbed him off like sort of straight away, and he scored in the 88th minute. There was a horrible game. He kept the ball in his own half like all the match, and it's quite frustrating. But he watches the replay 3 times, thinking he was an absolute cunt, thinking he won the game, thinking he was the dog's bollocks, but he clearly wasn't. Late on in the game, I get a throw in, and young Sigurdsson there, this little fake shot, passes it to the other Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson scores, the Swansea Sigurdsson scores, and I was more than happy at that point. But yeah, that was my sort of the view on the Liverpool thing. You know, if any Liverpool fans are in the watching this, you know, leave a comment what your opinion is. You know, my opinion is it's gonna be tough for whoever gets the job. And yeah, that's sort of that, I suppose. And obviously the big football news is tomorrow you've got the Champions League final, which is going to be, hopefully it'll be a great game. Hopefully Chelsea don't, you know, employ negative tactics, but I believe they probably will employ negative tactics. They'll have everyone behind the ball. They'll have the cheating scumbag Drogba up front, which is, you know, I really don't like Drogba personally. I think he's a cheat, but you know, he's a good player, but he's just, there's no need to go on the way he does. And obviously you got the big game, you got the Championship playoff, which is arguably as big, if not you know, obviously it's not a bigger game, but it's, you know, it's a pretty important game with all the financial money at stake. Obviously West Ham will be the favourites going into the game. You know, they spent a lot of money, but I would love to see Blackpool sort of win the game. You know, Ian Holloway, really like him. I enjoyed the way Blackpool play, and I would quite like to see Blackpool get promoted, get them in the Premiership. You know, I like Blackpool. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, obviously in the Champions League final, leave your predictions as well in the comments. I think, you know, if you're being realistic, Bayern Munich should win the game. They're at home. You know, Chelsea's, you know, their suspensions is going to cost them. You know, especially Ramirez. He is a really good player. They'll miss Ivanovic and they'll miss Morales. Will they miss Terry? Probably not. He's an absolute clown. But yeah, honestly, I hope Chelsea win. But you know, realistically, I kind of see it happening. But I suppose even if Chelsea do win, maybe Di Matteo will probably still not get the job. I think Capello is currently the favourite to get the job, which is quite interesting. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave comments on your thoughts about the matches tomorrow, the two big games. And yeah, guys, I think I'm just sort of applying a few contracts and just sort of messing my squad around a bit. Yeah, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave my Twitter in the description. Anything else, send me a private messages. And yeah, guys, yeah, have a nice night. Peace.